All right. Let's get to it. Let's do it. We are fighting Super Heavy Sam versus What is going on? This is our third branded duel, and every single duel, they open up branded fusion. Maybe there's a bug? I mean, if there were, we wouldn't even know about it, right? We have Psyframe Driver, dead, DD Crow, Lockbird. Lockbird's not so good. DD Crow could actually be decent if they go for the main play of summoning Albion by sending the Albaz that needs to be banished. You then banish it with your DD Crow, and they kind of get screwed. So let's see what they do. Foolish Burial. Tragedy will trigger the Droll and Lockbird. Thus, the Alibur cannot add another card. So will we finger the bird? Yes, we will. Call by the Grave, banish. Now, if we play Droll and not DD Crow, the crossout designate would have been better, because the DD Crow is likely to be disrupting a play here, unless we set up with Branded Lost. Thus, we can't DD Crow in response to the Fusion Summon. Thus, the DD Crow actually now does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can't DD Crow. But this would be a good DD Crow. You DD Crow the Albaz right here, and you're good. Now, in response to the summon, so what happens here is you could DD Crow the Lubellion, right? Wrong. As soon as we enter the open game state, which is when you could DD Crow, who has player priority? Quan, the turn player. So if the first effect we use is Lubellion tribute the Albion, you can't even DD Crow the Lubellion. Come forth. Lubellion, Searing Dragon, which will be making our Mirror Jade, making sure our fusion summons are on Chainlink 1, stopping the DD Crow. The mistake is if we do anything but summon Lubellion. Then we could DD Crow. So we need to toggle on right now and hope that we could DD Crow that Lubellion. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't DD Crow the Albaz, can't DD Crow the Lubellion. Hopefully, I'm thinking Quan did that on purpose to play around DD Crow. And we are DD Crowing the Albion at the end of the main phase before it activates at the end phase. So you do need your toggle on for this play. If you have it on toggle auto, it will go to the end phase, they will have player priority to activate the Albion, and then your DD Crow is not usable again, and then you may as well just surrender. Very well done, stopping the search. Let's go, one card combo, we popping off. Now, we have Mirror Jade and just cross out Designate. Mirror Jade could actually turn into double disruption. It could not only banish a monster non-targeting, but it could send a Rinbrum, which could reborn an Albaz, but do we have an Albaz in the grave? We don't. So that is an issue. We also don't have a way to trigger our Branded Lost. Get ready, get ready. Setting up with the Big Benki, get searching, banishing the Piercer. Is this the correct play? The Piercer, we are continually looping, continually sending to the grave, continually searching our deck. So that could be incredibly beneficial if we weren't to just summon another Piercer from the deck. This is why the card is limited to 1 in TCG, or I think at least OCG. In TCG, I think it's unlimited, but this is a card that will very likely be limited to 1 for that very reason why, you know, it got banished, which should have been the good way to stop the deck. Grabbing the Bokashi here. We're going to be discarding the Scales to reborn the Scales to then reborn a monster from the graveyard, not reborning the Piercer. Instead, we're going to be reborning the Bike, going into the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. We already used up our only disruption. We have nothing left. We have the Branded Opening protecting the Mirror Jade from being destroyed by card effect, which could be decent against Baron de Fleur here. Probably going to go for the back row though, forcing out the activation of Crossout, which we didn't even bother thinning out our deck. Now the Sprind, summoning from the deck Albaz. You can't negate the activation because you didn't destroy the Branded Lost. And the Sprind, this play was public knowledge. This is not a surprise. Nothing new was introduced. The Sprind was sitting there in the grave from the Mirror Jade, so we could have deduced that through the effect of Branded Lost during the end phase, they would in fact fuse with our Baron de Fleur that we could not negate because we didn't pop the Lost. Damn. That's something. Wow. That was the duel to be branded, I think. The only ending on a single disruption. Motorbike attempting a search. We are going to Ash the very first effect of searching. Is that correct? Well, ideally you negate the Peacemaker, but the Peacemaker could very likely be protected by a Baron de Fleur at that point. So maybe just negating the first search is just the best you could do. And you should just accept the fact that a single Ash, a single Imperm, a single Veiler, there's really no good opportunity to use it. We have the Piercer searching for the Peacemaker, discard, Reborn. See, this is what you would Ash. We got the Ash for the Peacemaker, but then there's a Baron to floor. So it doesn't work. You can't ideally Ash against the deck. You just can't. Ready to negate any further ideally held hand traps, which is not going to be a thing here. Scales from the deck, Reborn the Piercer, that is. Ballista search for the box. Box search for a Tunneler. Piercer search for another card. So we're searching 1, 2, 3. Grabbing that Tunneler. We have Regulus for our Omni Negate. First, we're going to Pendulum Summon. Shokan into the Apollo USA, which will be a triple monster negate. Into the Borreload Savage Dragon for another Omni Negate. On top of another Omni Negate. And we're going to be popping the Piercer to be giving us further follow-up for next turn. We got the Wagon. Now, Tunneler is not done. We're going to draw 2 cards, drawing into more hand traps. Maybe Max C. We have Ash. What else could we have here? No other hand traps. A deck that's filled to the brim with hand traps, not drawing any with the Tunneler. That's quite unfortunate for them. But even without the mass amount of hand traps beyond the Ash, we have negate, 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 negate. 5 negates. Let's go. We played through 5. Not using up any of our negates. Now, one of these negates are the correct negate to use on the Branded Fusion if we didn't have an Ash, and you should know that answer. Is it Borreload? Is it Baron? Is it Therion? The answer is Therion. Don't negate with Borreload or Baron over the Therion. It's very important because it negates the effect just like Ash, not the activation. All right, we still have our 5 negates. Wait, did I miscount? It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 negates. My bad. Apollo's got that triple. We use up 1 negate on the Call by the Grave. Cross out, designate, negate. So now we only have 4 negates. Negated. Negate. Negated. Negate. Negated. All right. Now, triple tactics thrust. Negate. We have 3 more negates left after using up 3 of our negates, plus the Ash being a 4th negate. Apollo, we swinging in to kill ourselves. I don't think that's triggering anything here. Nope. We're just pretty much surrendering. Let's go. Just like that. This is why a card like Dark Ruler No More, specifically against Super Heavy Samurai, is a very good card. A lot of other decks like Branded Despia and Monadium, they don't fold to a Dark Ruler No More. So just the existence of those other decks where Dark Ruler No More is not so good against them, that helps out Super Heavy Samurai, where if we were in a meta where more decks were affected, the deck would just become worse because of that. Good job. Let's go to game 3. All right. We have Fusion Deployment. I do think it's safe to Max C on an open field against Branded. They're not really playing Gamma. Ash is going to be negating, and now we're going to have to just be relying on our DD Crow. What is going to be our optimal DD Crow play here? Summoning a Cartesia from the deck, but we have no light or dark monster. Had we had maybe a 2nd or 3rd copy of Serenir, we could have fused with it. We are not playing a 60-card deck, so maybe their deck size just removed 2 cards. So it's not about replacing one of these cards. It's that the deck size is now smaller with less darks to fuse with. Had we had Serenir, we had full Wombo combo. So I guess this is, in a way, the effect of Serenir going to 1. You know, the slight effect of it. What do we even have? We actually have nothing besides Ash. The Banishment does nothing. The Fusion Duplication does nothing. This is just awkward. We can't really do anything. Target a Fusion, normal spell in the graveyard, so Fusion Deployment. I guess that does do something. We summon Albaz and then fuse with their fields, but DD Crow is going to stop it. Damn. Just like that. We actually had to play with Fusion Duplication, which normally is being used on your Branded Fusion. We were instead going to be summoning that Albaz, which we wanted to summon before the Scarecrow activates, which was the correct play. And now let's speed on through the, I would say, near guaranteed victory for Super Heavy Samurai. In fact, I would like to DQ if they do not win this turn. Let's do it. Synchro Shokan into the Baron to floor, ready to pop any card in the field. We're going to be equipping onto our Scarecrow. Ash with the ideal negate. But the Baron to floor did not negate the ideal negate. What are you saving Baron to floor for? I guess If we were summoning Scales from the deck, we would have negated, but the Scales is in the hand, so that's fine. Get Reborning Wagon, get Searching. Maybe we're not confident that we're winning this turn, so we want Baron de Fleur to be usable on the next turn. It's only once while face up. Are we really not winning this turn? This searches for Therion. Baron de Fleur already popped a card in the field. Do we not have game? We have Train, right? We're not making the Choo-Choo Train. We already Pendulum summoned. Come to us, Soul Claw. Soul Claw, level 2 non-tuner for extending. We have Tunneler, but we're gonna have to tribute a monster to summon it. We can't Pendulum it. Shokan to the Axis Code Talker, just like that. We're gonna be able to wipe up the Cartesia, then attack for game. Thus, holding on to the Baron de Fleur negate for the next turn. Didn't even need it. Good job to Mitsuri. And, you know, great discipline on not negating with Baron de Fleur. Had to have calculated that we were still gonna have lethal without having to negate. Imagine if the Dragoon gets unbanned. If Dragoon's gonna be playable for the tryout event, that'd be a lot of fun. And I think that's the only way I would play the tryout event. If I don't think it's gonna be craftable, though, I don't think it's gonna be playable, even though we're abiding by the TCG ban list. Is there a good reason why? No. I have information that Dragoon's already programmed in the game. It already does all its effects. Like, all the work of Dragoon, if I remember correctly, it also even has an animation. I think so. So it's literally just flipping a switch. I don't know why Konami's not doing it. Negate, negate, negate. Can't activate unless your special summon monster is being pointed to by a link. Pop a card in the field, and pop up to 2, that is. And also the anti-spell Fragrance is disallowing spells from activating unless they are set for more than a turn. 6 things to play through. We have no spells that are even activatable at the moment. Let's go. Sir, you did not even need the anti-spell Fragrance to beat me, but thank you very much. Begin. Huh? What the heck? Traptrix set 2 pass. We have Bottomless Trap Hole, and that's it. The Hole T does not do anything. Huh? Well, 1500 or more attack is summoned. Banish a monster. Let's go. Is that going to be doing anything? We have the Illusion of Chaos, adding the Illusion Magician, which we could then draw in Lockbird them up. Thus, they're not going to be able to add any more cards in the deck to the hand, including drawing. So the Magician Souls can't draw. Correctly declaring monster off the top of the deck, activating to special summon and pop a back row. We're going to be responding with Bottomless Trap Hole, banishing the Super Agent off the field. Very well done. It's not going to be able to be looping from the graveyard through a card like Rescue. Rescue is comboed up with the Super Agent to get popping during the grind game. Spyral actually has a decent grind game. Because we didn't activate the Garden early, they opened up the Anti-Spell Fragrance, which counters us from being able to activate our spells. We now have Sarah. Sarah comboed up with the Whole T will be triggering to summon a monster from the deck. We're flipping up the Rescue early, which, was it even do early? Can target a Spyral in the graveyard, add it to your hand. That's not gonna be doing anything. We have Mermelio on summon, popping a back row card, taking out the Dark Lord No More, triggering the Sarah second effect to set a trap from the deck, as we then link up, I should say exceed, into the Alomiris. Alomiris will detach 2 materials to reborn a monster from the graveyard, activating the Mermelio mandatory effect to pop a back row card again, taking out the 1-for-1 after the Dark Lord No More, as you now make a Raffleja. Raffleja can use a trap from your deck. So if they were to summon a monster, I guess we could use Bottomless Trap Hole from the deck. Let's go. Good disruption. Now, we have no plays. We can't add back the Super Agent as it was banished by the Bottomless Trap Hole. So Bottomless Trap Hole actually putting in good work. We have swapped up here. We have Ash and DD Crow. DD Crow on the Master Plan is a good play, but you have to be careful. If they have a rescue mission, they could chain the rescue mission to another card attempting to reborn her to save her from the DD Crow, which we don't have here. That is when we DD Crow perfectly used. No other quick effect to dodge the DD Crow here. All right, let's go, let's go. You didn't miss the leaks. Fusion duplication on quick fix, as it is not limited to one anymore, summoning 2 quick fixes from the deck, negated by Ash. That's it. We have no more disruption, but that completely ends our turn. Traptrix is not known for first turn killing. We're going to opt out of our evenly match so that we have a battle phase here. The Putika is going to be negated from adding a Traptrix Guardian from the deck to the hand. The Traptrix Guardian would allow an additional normal summon, could also reborn a Traptrix from the grave by banishing one on the field. We're now linking this up into Sarah. Sarah is going to trigger after the Chain Hole is activated to summon a Traptrix from the deck, which will then trigger her other effect to set a trap from the deck that will not be activatable the turn it's set. Now, what does Trap Hole do? When your opponent activates a monster effect in response to a card or effect activation, negate that opponent's effect, then your opponent could banish 1 card from their hand or deck with the same original name as that negated card. If they did not, you could banish 1 random card from their hand. So what do we have that they could respond to? Nothing. So it looks like opponent's going to have to activate a monster effect in response to their own effect, which would then make the Chain Hole activatable. That's going to be weird. When would that happen? How would that happen? Quick fix grabbing the last resort here. We're going to be linking this up into Phoenix, which will just get rid of the Chain Hole before it's even activatable. we have no plays. We have just battle phase swing over. Despite wiping up the entire field of disruption, that's it. Now, Traptrix Diane is going to be reborning our Putika from the grave, which could banish the Phoenix until the next standby phase. And maybe we're going to be setting up the Pot of Prosperity, something that could trigger our Sarah. We need a Sarah trigger here. We already used up our normal summon. I guess Floodgate Trap Hole is the way, yeah? No, we're grabbing the Arachno. Arachno could summon onto the field, and I believe it activates in the hand with its summon. Yes, it does activate, triggering the Sarah to set a trap from the deck. We now got the Whole T. Whole T activatable the turn it's set. Discard a card, special summon, trigger Sarah, summon a monster from the deck. We are in main phase 1. Can we deal 8,000 damage with Traptrix? I don't think so. Raffleja at only 300 attack being summoned into defense. It could activate a trap from the deck as long as the opponent is meeting the condition activation of that trap. We also got the Alumeris. Alumeris will reborn a monster from the graveyard here, which will be our Diane. Diane on special summon, recycling our Chain Hole. I'm not sure, like, is this good? Why is this good? Is this good? Is it for just negating Ash? Negate Ash, I guess? Putika, not reborning the Phoenix. You could reborn any banished monster. We're choosing to reborn our master plan here, which triggers our Raffleja. It is a special summon. So on your special summon, we're going to Floodgate Trap Hole your master plan. Permanently flipped face down, triggering the Sarah to set up a Whole T. Now, is the Putika special summon optional? Because that kind of forced us to play into the Raffleja. You can investigate that later. Magician's Soul sending another master plan from the deck to the grave. We have no spell and trap cards to send. We're going to use the Whole T to reborn the Putika, which will then banish a card until the next standby. Get ready. Putika on summon, banishing the illusion, the Magician's Souls that is. Big enough to take out Sarah, but Sarah is protected from battle destruction. Now, surely Traptrix can win right now, right? As we exceed this up into Pingu. Pingu is here. We're going to be adding a Traptrix monster from the deck to the hand. That will be our Diane. Diane will reborn from the grave, but first the Sarah is being triggered to set up a Whole T. With the Diane, we're going to be reborning a Putika, which will banish temporarily until the next standby phase, getting rid of the thick, face down 2800 defense master plan, and then sucking her up with the Pingu. Now making Asa. Asa could reborn an Engrave Earth monster, which will be the quick fix. As we then further link this up into an Adipus. Adipus could boost up the field by plus 1,000 attack, negating the Phoenix in last resort, banishing a trap from the grave to take out the Phoenix. We have over 9,000 damage on the field. And just like that, lethal damage, Traptrix completely taking out Spyral from the tournament.